Hello, how's it going all of you beautiful people around the world? My name is Ryan, aka Blackbeard TCG, and today I am super excited because a bunch of cards got revealed, and one of them in particular piqued my interest. In fact, I'm pretty sure it piqued everybody's interest, and that is none other than Fujitora, Isho. Honestly, Fujitora, such a cool character, a blind swordsman, but his ability is something else. So let's go ahead, let's break it down. Let me talk to you guys about why I'm so excited, why I think right off the bat this is going to be a leader that everybody's going to want to play, everybody's going to want to try out. I'm going to have other videos coming out on the channel talking about some other cards and some combinations. We'll talk about it in this video as well. But without further ado, let's break down Fujitora. First and foremost, as per usual, shout out to Helio for the translation, putting it in the Discord for us very, very quickly. And real Fisherman deck, please. I know the feel. I know the feel. I want a Blackbeard deck soon. Hopefully next set. Hopefully we'll get a Fisherman deck and a Blackbeard deck in the next set and we'll be happy. But let's go ahead and break it down. So Isho is a green and black leader, so color combination that a lot of people were really excited for, really interesting to see how it's going to play out, and I think it's going to be spicy. 4 life, 5,000 power, so a standard lineup, standard stat line of a dual color leader. Of course, in this set, we have a couple 5 life, 5,000 power leaders, which is kind of changed to the norm, but Isho very much the norm, but his effect is anything but. So, Navy tag, ability with 1 Dawn attached. On your turn, you can give -1 cost to all of your opponent's characters, which is obviously very strong, right? Again, when I see effects like this, I think back to like Marineford from the starter deck, and I'm like, man, I wish that this was like a -2. Maybe again, it would probably be too strong if you could -2 every single turn. It's effectively a -2 the only time you play it. But like the more that these types of cards get released, like I look at this, and then also the promo Sengoku, I believe, I'll throw it up on the screen. I think that also minuses cost. I mean, like, there's so many other cards that you could play rather than that Marineford, and you're chilling, right? But yeah, his ability is basically Marineford, and all you have to do is attach 1 Dawn to him, and you're going to attach Dawn to this guy at some point because you're going to be attacking with your leader, and of course, it just enables so many things because it's all of your opponent's characters get -1. That is very, very good. So obviously, that opens up the most obvious of combos, right? Being able to pop stuff with your Kobe, being able to pop stuff with your Sakazuki or anything else like that. Maybe you're running starter deck Garp, right? It just allows you to have that additional tool in your kit in order to -1, which is nice. But the beautiful thing, of course, is the second part of his ability. At the end of your turn, you can set up to 1 of your characters with a cost 5 or less as active. Now, this is so strong. This is just... I read this and I was like, oh man, is this real? Is the translation correct? Because this is fire, right? So right off the bat, I think a use case that everybody's thinking of is blockers, right? So the first blocker that came to my mind is probably the best, arguably the best blocker in the game. And that's Borsalino, one of the best blockers for sure. And Borsalino being able to be 6,000 power during your opponent's turn, being able to be played as early as turn 2, it's definitely a formidable card. It's very powerful. So it's really nice to have the ability to also swing with that now if needed, and then you can go ahead and restand it at the end of your turn, and now on your opponent's turn, it's a 6k wall. That's something that I think is really, really cool, really interesting. That's one of the first blockers that I thought of. Another blocker as well is obviously Trafalgar Law, who has a decent stat line, right? 6,000 power, 5 cost. It's a very, very powerful card, but you're typically not really swinging with it unless you are playing Trafalgar Law. Maybe you want to do some Room Shambles technologies, or if you're playing starter deck Law as well in order to restand, you can go ahead and make plays like that. But outside of that, you're not really swinging with this Law. And so now, with Isho as your leader, you can swing with it and then also have it as a blocker on your turn. One of the other really kind of cheeky things I want to talk about as well is we already have 2 green Navy cards that came in set 1 actually. In fact, in the starter decks, there's Kobe, who's 6,000 power, 4 cost, which we've seen a lot of decks from that stat line if needed. But then there's also the X-Drake, and it hasn't really seen play because didn't really need to. It probably won't still see play, but it's interesting because its ability allows you to give your Navy leaders plus 1000 power, and up until this point, we haven't had a Navy leader that was green, right? So now that we have one that is going to be green and black in Fujitora, Fujitora will be able to play this and be able to benefit off the plus 1000 power. So I could definitely see this being a potential tech card if needed, if you're going up against Whitebeard or something like that, if it's searchable and all those things. Now, would it be optimal? Probably not. I'm just saying a potential use case. But I just think that it's pretty interesting. I think it's cool that now this card potentially would have some use for navies. Now, there's a bunch of combos. The synergy between green as well as black is absolutely insane. I'm gonna have to do another video just talking about all the potential combos and breaking them down and all of those things. But one of the really interesting ones that I seen on Twitter that completely wasn't on my radar, so shout outs to everybody in the community because everyone just starts pooling ideas together once cards get revealed. But the first thing is 8 cost kid, right? So if you guys forgot about 8 cost kid, I mean, how could you? It's a card that absolutely dominated the meta for so long. But in case you forgot, 8 cost kid with 1 Dawn attached. If he's rested, you cannot attack anything else other than 8 cost kid, right? Obviously, you could also use the ability to to play something from your hand for free as well. If you want to rest him, you can go ahead and swing with him, and then his effect is still active. You guys know what 8 cost kid does. So there's that, right? It's green, so you have the ability to play it. Now, what's interesting is because you have access to black, you can play Yasakani's Sacred Jewel. Now, this card has never seen play. Maybe you might have played it potentially at your pre-release event for OPO2. But in case you forgot what this card does, what its ability is, let's go ahead and read it. You may trash 1 card from your hand, choose up to 1 of your characters. That character cannot be KO'd during this battle. So, I mean, this is pretty sick. This is pretty dope because this is going to allow you to be able to save your 8 cost kid when needed, because obviously it's only this battle, right? So they're going to have to commit yet another attack through in order to get to it. But I think that it's something that's really cool, really interesting, because obviously when you play 8 cost kid, you have your other blockers. Black having some of the best blockers in the game in Borsellino, as well as that one other card that's in my mind. It's on the screen right now. Forgot his name. The one that's part of CP9 has those. Of course, you have Capone Gang Beige in green and all of those things. Depending on what other cards you want to play, you have other blocker tools as well. So your 8 cost kid will be protected pretty nicely. And then it's like they finally get past those blockers, or, you know, maybe they have that Luffy and they want to bypass it or whatever it may be, right? Maybe they have a double jump. I don't know. Maybe they're finally able to get that attack to that 8 cost kid, and then you're just able to Yasakani Sacred Jewel it, and then it stays alive for that battle. I think that that's pretty cool. I think that's interesting. Of course, it's not something that like you're always going to have every single match because it's pretty situational. And then outside of the 8 cost kid, I'm not really sure what else you could really use. Of course, there's ways to get rid of 8 cost kid now as well. It's not as extremely dominant as it was before when we had other cards to deal with it, right? Red has a bunch of stuff to reduce power and then pop it with card effects, right? Like you look at things like Squad, although Squad hasn't seen as much play with Whitebeard, and now Whitebeard changing its build a little bit. Now some people are running it again, but to my point, Red has a lot of things that can reduce power, pop things, which is why that doesn't see as much play now. Of course, with Black has the ability to go ahead and pop and get rid of things. So that's why 8 cost kid isn't seen as dominant as before, but I think it's a pretty cool interaction in order to save that 8 cost kid. Now, Yasakani Sacred Jewel would be broken if it said that this character cannot be KO'd for this turn. And then green and black, like that would definitely be a problem. I feel like it would get around it. So good thing it does not say that. It's definitely balanced as is. I just think it's a really cool interaction. So yeah, with that being said, I'm super excited. I think you guys might be super excited as well. Everybody, let me know what combinations in green and black that you guys can come up with for each show. I want to make a video talking about a bunch of different combinations. I'll give you guys shout outs. I'll put your comments up on the screen in the next video. So if you guys come up with any ideas, leave them down below. I want us to start thinking of all the tech for this. And keep in mind, It's going to be awesome, right? Because we're still going to be getting a bunch of green cards, and then we're still going to be getting a bunch of black cards in this set. So we already have a bunch of tools from the previous set, and then now in this new set, being able to pick and choose from 2 colors for this absolute beast of a leader is going to be amazing. I hope you guys are excited as I am, and if not, hopefully I made you excited. You know, hopefully I influence you guys, maybe I bias you guys a little bit. But with that being said, I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.